Rich.
All right, welcome to the March 4th Zoning Advisory Commission meeting for the year 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And Travis, are you doing the roll call tonight?
Yes, sorry, I'm sorry. Christ,
Here.
Russell,
Here.
Lorman,
Here.
Zaccaro, and Zaccaro.
Let's just give it. I
appears
think she's
to
gonna
be
drop.
on.
She's gonna jump back on, yeah.
Okay, and then Norton is excused.
And Forsyth is excused.
And we'll give it 1 second for Zaccaro to comment here. Commissioner Zaccaro, can you hear us?
She's gonna jump on in now.
We heard her just a few moments ago.
Morgan Norton, Forsyth are excused. Right, you said that.
Maybe you could text her and see if,
Yeah.
Let me just double check with the.
Yep. Okay.
So she has a phone number, you can call her.
Through the room there. Terry. Yeah, it's
Well, so I would actually
call into the meeting.
I would call her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Terry, can you, hold on one moment here, yeah. Terry, we're gonna call your cell phone and just have you join in on the audio through the conference room here, or through the meeting room here, so bear with us. I made you dial 9.
I didn't touch it yet.
No, did you in the past? Your call. That's fine. Have it on mine here, maybe.
Broadcasting is on.
Yep, I will just, you got it? Okay, perfect. Good. 6, 3, 7, 258. Doing this. What did you do the 9?
Call and then dial.
Call and then dial? Nope. 9.
We're sorry.
Sorry, guys. This is not something we do every day. Apologize for the delay here. Yep, yep.
You do have to call.
And then. Nope.
We're sorry.
I'm just trying to, yeah,
So we can also, if it's easier, let's try having her call this phone number.
okay, okay.
know if she can hear us.
That's good.
Terry, can you hear us?
I'm gonna message her.
Do you have a text?
Can you hear me? My apologies.
There we go.
Alright,
We got
you're
you.
here. We got you. Excellent.
We
Thank you.
we do hear you. Can you hear us? Is it just on the laptop, maybe?
No, it's not on here. Joel can hear us just fine. Terry, if you
That's true.
if you could we could hear you just fine, but we want to confirm you can hear us here in the room.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll finish roll.
Just a roll call. Roll call. We have Lorman, Russell, Christ, we're ayes. Terry, Zaccaro.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then Mulligan excused.
And Mulligan is excused as well.
All right, next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from February 4th, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
All second.
Christ,
Aye.
Lorman,
Aye.
Zaccaro,
Aye.
and Russell.
Aye.
Okay.
I'll just state for the benefit of the commission that we are in compliance with the state of Iowa laws, open meeting laws.
Thank you, Travis.
Yes. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is a site design waiver request. The applicant is Joel Callahan of YC6 LLC. The location of the request is 4488 Dodge Street. First part of the procedure will be to have the applicant make a presentation. And Joel or Logan, please state your name and address for the record.
This is Logan Yeager with Callahan Construction of YC6 LLC.
And go ahead and explain what you're requesting and the reasons for the request.
So we are requesting to put up a cold storage, pretty basic building behind the existing building. So to get everybody kind of a lay of the land, the building is 2 stories. You drive around back, and then there's about 1.5 acres of kind of flat ground storage room area, outdoor storage that is currently available. We have a tenant, we are the tenant, but we have Rivaswal Truss and Lumber, a new Dubuque store that is interested in putting up this cold storage building. So essentially we need more room to grow and expand our Dubuque market. We just kind of opened our doors in Dubuque over the past probably 7 months or so. And we've reached a point where we're looking to add some storage to the area. The waiver comes into play because essentially we are looking to put this building up as soon as we could. But the issue that we're running into is that in order to do that, Dubuque would require that we add, we get our property up to current standards, which would include different boulevards and some different landscape islands and landscape requirements that the current building does not reach, which is understandable when you put up a new building. But I guess our side of it is just that, number one, where we're putting the building, we feel that it won't impact anything that's happening with the current building, the current traffic, the current aesthetics of the place. And then the other part is that, which is something that we are 100% would love to see happen as soon as possible, the DOT, or the frontage road that stops at our neighboring property. It runs through Menards, the Link Hydraulic, Longhorn Salary area. That frontage road is proposed to be extended to our property and beyond, which would be awesome for traffic issues and et cetera. But either way, that will come with a lot of expense, changes to our property. Some of the big changes will be like our existing sign will have to be moved. We'll lose parking with that. It'll cause a significant reconstruction to kind of the front parking lot, front property that we currently have. So we feel that we're doing something minimal enough that that it's not impacting anything greatly. But then the other side is that if we were to put in those boulevards, we were to get our landscaping up to current ordinance, we would have some significant reconstruction and costs that would be associated with that road extending that frontage road. So, we'd be kind of spending money that would be wasteful in the grand aspect of having that frontage road come through.
Right, thank you. Do the commission members have any questions for the applicant? If not, we'll go on to the staff report.
Assistant Planner Travis Shrubelgen. So as the applicant stated, they are doing a new storage building. And that building is greater than 25% of the current footprint of their existing structure. And in that, when that's the case, they are triggered then to install all the design standards up to city code as of today. They are looking at some changes to the front there. As part of that frontage road, it would change. Maybe if you show that frontage road real quickly. We do have received some plans for that frontage road. There's no timeline on when that would be constructed. We also don't know necessarily the full impacts. This is, I assume, a tentative plan. And it is led by the DOT, so I don't know exact specifics about that. But as you can see, that blue area there is kind of showing the existing outline of the parking lot, and that blue area is also indicating that that would be acquired by the DOT. And that would therefore push their site down to the south that distance, whatever that distance is, and that would then configure their parking lot. So they're seeking right now, if you go back to that other image, please. They're seeking right now to waive the standards for the buffer along that length, and then there'd be two end islands along that same buffer area to the north. Yep. So there's three components there: the landscape end islands, and then the landscape buffer. And then there's the orange island in the middle that does not exist at all. One would need to be placed there. It doesn't have to be raised curb or anything, but it would have to be a landscaped area at the end of the aisle. And then they would, in the green areas, those areas would need to be landscaped. Those are existing areas that are green space, but they're not landscaped. In addition to that, they would then need 26 shrubs and 16 trees throughout the site. I believe there's about a handful, 4 or 5 trees that exist on the site over the hillside to the south. And then the other standard is then the hard surface access around the rear of the site. Typically, we would require hard surface access areas in all areas vehicles are going to access. Storage could be done on gravel, but the access to that storage area and to the storage yard would need to be fully hard surfaced. So this is just an estimate where the concrete is here on this, because we just seen some turn templates. Everything else on the site does otherwise meet code, and that's what they're here for today. I believe that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Go ahead.
Just to quick interrupt, the only thing that we would add, and if Travis, you have any questions, please let us know. But the parking lot out back is, I'm going to say, it's already about 60% concrete and asphalt, and then it is rocked all the way back until the hillside gets too steep for any type of business or building or anything. And that's currently hard surface. So the hard surface part of it, I do believe it would be considered as there's hard surface existing already, and so we would not be affecting that hard surface at all.
Okay, so just from a staff perspective, we received a turn template which showed some vehicles in that area. So that was included in this. If that's in error, then yeah, please let us know and verify that.
Are you saying that they're not requesting a waiver for the first item listed then? Because they're already in compliance?
They may be in
Parking lot?
compliance for the hard surface access. So there's a dark line there right at the edge of the building, right there where Sheena has her cursor. Sorry, Miss Moon. So at that point, it goes from hard surface to gravel, like a compacted gravel. So typically, if they're going to be driving around that building, which is what the turn templates that I've seen are showing, that would be required to be hard surface. But if the applicant can explain that in a way that is clear and can confirm one way or the other, we can move forward on that one way or the other. We need some clarification.
So the turn template that's shown on this schematic, was that something that the staff decided to put in there, or did the applicant say, hey, we're going to have a drive around the back of the storage building?
So as part of the conceptual review of every site, we go through all the things that a site's required. One of the things that the traffic engineer required was a turn template to show the largest vehicles on the site. Now, when we received that, it showed vehicles going around the building. That may not be the case. That may have been an error. I'm not certain because we only received the file. We didn't have confirmation one way or other if that was accurate. So that's kind of what I'm asking right now. If the applicants can confirm that one way or the other, we can move forward with that.
Yeah, and I will just add too that we saw this conceptually as Travis noted, and sometimes plans change between conceptual plans and final drawings. So again, looking to Logan to clarify whether or not they still intend to access the building from these sides and or to include turning templates around the building.
So how, from our logistical aspect, we would plan to drive vehicles for turnaround around the building, you know, semi access, because this is all semi material that comes in and out for the most part. However, the access into the building, or any access in and out, will purely be from hard surface on the, it would be considered kind of the front side of the building we would be putting up, if that makes sense.
It does. So you would have trailers driving through over the hard surface onto the gravel and around the building. Is that correct?
That is correct. And then the access into the building would be just via the hard surface straight into the building, if that makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, so per code, that would be considered a vehicle access drive.
So it would,
So that was added to this request, just for to be clear, yeah. And
That
if
makes sense. Okay, yep, we're on
yeah.
the same page.
Yep, yeah. If that's denied, then they would have to install hard surface. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for any confusion.
No, that's okay. It sounds like we're all.
Thanks for the clarification. All right, any other questions from the commission?
yeah, you said the green areas on there are already,
Google Maps. Yeah, so it's already turf. Actually, you can see it in that picture right there. There's kind of that end island in the middle of the parking lot. That's existing. And then there's an end cap on the right side. That's existing. And then the left side, just where there's parking stalls. That's where it's required to be, excuse me, to be landscaped. So landscaping can be trees, shrubs, ornamental flowers, ornamental trees, and mixture of that. It cannot be just simply sod by code. So that's what they're requesting, a waiver of all, essentially all landscaping in addition to that buffer.
Well, given the DOT plans, I think it makes sense to waive the requirements for the landscape buffer along the frontage and also for the parking lot layout, since they don't know exactly how that's going to impact their parking lot layout. As far as the landscaping goes, it's hard to put the maximum required landscaping on if you're going to have impacts to the landscaping in the future as well. I'm not sure about the hard surface drive aisle requirements, since that's in the back of the property.
Mr. Chair, I'm okay with leaving the front and the yellow one on the side where they, but I think as long as those landscape islands are there, there's no reason that they couldn't be landscaped. And as far as the drive, if it's required and they're putting up a new building and it's required and it's at the back of the building, just because it's the back of the building, I think it should still be hard surface paved, because that's not dependent on what the front of the building gets, what the DOT does with the front of the building. That's at the back of the building. And I think that should be hard surface.
Can we ask how the landscaping requirements are determined? Because it seems like they apply to the entire site, and it would be difficult to meet the requirement as written because of the future changes proposed.
The ones I'm talking about are already there. The green ones are already there.
But the requirement is for like the number of plantings on the overall site, right?
So there are two different requirements. One is that kind of three. So the buffer and islands are required to be landscaped, period. And that's any one of those variety that I had mentioned earlier. And then the second requirement is the number of shrubs based on the size of the lot. So you take the size of the lot, 20% of the lot, and then you divide that by 1,600 for the number of trees, which is 16, or divided by 1,000 for the number of shrubs, which is 26. So they could put those trees and shrubs anywhere on the site, and they don't count the same as the landscaping islands within the islands themselves or the buffer. They're a separate component.
Yeah, and I don't care, but I think as long as those islands are there now existing, they should be landscaped, since they're there existing. Put a couple of trees or whatever for some green space.
And Martha, you're talking about, just for clarification, the green rectangles,
Yeah, they're already there.
right?
They're
Okay.
existing.
But how do they meet the requirement without putting in the additional ones required?
They wouldn't. That's why they're here seeking a waiver.
Right.
The other site plants, the 26 and 16, they could be placed anywhere on the site. So they'd accommodate those elsewhere on the island, possibly on this side. There's a green space next to the building with that one small green on the other side as well. That whole area could accommodate some plants or trees. There's the west property line could, if you require that.
I guess my question is, can't we just give them the waiver for that, the overall, and just require in the existing?
Yes, yeah.
That's all that's all I
commission-
want is to let it go. Everything else can go, I don't care. But as long as those existing ones are there, I feel they should have some landscaping.
Sure, and I should be clear about this. The commission can accept, approve, or deny any portion of this or portions of. You can kind of modify it however you see fit. It does take 4 affirmative votes to pass a motion. But again, you can modify that motion. You can condition it based on limiting some of those and approving some and not approving others.
And how do we determine how many would be required based on?
As far as, well, so our planting requirement for the islands is just that it's landscape. There's no number.
Oh,
So that's that requirement.
is that 3.6D?
Let me see here. NCAP Island. So that one in particular would be the 3 in orange and 1 in green. 1 orange, and the 2 at the end of the buffer. No, the up top.
Sorry. Oh,
End, and then, so those 2 ends, and then that end island in the middle. So that's 3.6D, as well as the landscaping of the 1 green one on the right. But if you require landscaping in that area, it can just not be sod. It has to be a mixture of flowers, shrubs, ornamental tree. It's pretty flexible.
So 13.36 would not require them to put additional like islands in the parking lot?
3.6D would. That's where that yellow, those 3 yellow ones I mentioned would trigger. So there's 3 end caps at the end of the parking stalls that you're not really seeing. They're indicated in orange kind of roughly where they'd be required.
How would we go about keeping a requirement to landscape what's there, but not require additional ones, since all that's really included in 3.6D?
Yeah, so that's where the commission has the ability to limit that a little bit. You could say according to this exhibit, and we can use this exhibit as a kind of a sample. The green ones, that's clear. We made that discussion. We can work through that.
Okay, so my personal opinion is I think we should require landscaping for the green ones and then the double yellow one that's in the second bay.
that's concrete.
That's not there now, and
Right.
their entire parking lot configuration could potentially even change, even the islands that are there now, like when that frontage road comes through. That's the part of the problem. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, waiving the requirement for the asphalt in the back has nothing to do with what's going on out front, but
Right.
we don't know if those existing islands are going to remain when their parking lot needs to be reconfigured for the frontage road. So I think that's an issue.
But I think that the thing it comes down to is, this is a DOT thing. This could be 10, 15 years down the line.
True.
For 10 or 15 years, they could put some landscape. Like Travis said, it could be flowers or greenery or something, just not grass. And even if a couple years, it's better than just having nothing,
Okay,
to have some of the requirements met.
okay.
Does anybody want to attempt a motion?
The only thing I would say is that, and I agree. You know, you don't know the timeline on the frontage road, but to the point that when the frontage road comes in, like if it's anything near as proposed, we will have to completely relay out that entire parking lot. And again, we're all for a frontage road. It's a safety thing, but it'll be a lot of kind of going back to the drawing board on that parking lot. But we're definitely okay putting some plantings in here and there as you see fit on some existing areas. So we're all about creating a perfect image. But like I said, it's just whatever makes the most sense on our end and your guys' end on, you know, where should we be, knowing that the parking lot could change drastically. So.
All right, thanks for the input, but I would point out that it's not a public hearing, so it's really the discussion should be limited to the commission.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'll try and make a motion. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the request for the modification, or the landscaping conditions along, in yellow as shown on the map, or the drawing.
Okay.
We require some kind of greenery planting in the green spots on the drawing, and then also that the whole thing is paved for the driving around the building.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Could I just ask a clarification question? So, so there's 5 code sections that are being requested. So you've addressed 3 of those. What about the landscaping for trees and shrubs on the site in totality?
Waive that, or get whatever they,
So
Your
amending the
motion is to waive that as submitted,
right. Waive is submitted except for those
except,
2 things,
And
the
the green.
driving thing and the green.
okay, so you'll meet it in the Green Islands. Okay. Well, yes, we understand it completely. It will be a little bit of a word thing with the code here, but we can do that, yes.
So should we just recap real quickly? I think what we're hearing is that the motion on the floor is to waive the yellow or orange spaces, buffer yards, and island requirements, to waive the overall site requirements for number of trees and shrubs, to require landscaping in the green identified planter or end caps, and then to require paving on the site, hard surface as is necessary. Okay,
All right,
that's a
so,
first then.
so we're looking for a second on that.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion by the commission here? No? All right, roll call.
Yes, Christ,
Aye.
Lorman,
Aye.
Zuccaro,
She's out. She's not there.
I don't know if she's caller number 2 or not.
Yeah.
Oh, she's caller too.
Commissioner Zuccaro, are you still online with us? Shoot. Okay. Shoot. We can try to call her quick.
Not sure when she dropped out. That may complicate some things.
I may just try to call her on the cell phone, my cell phone. Yeah, I was just gonna try to call her on the phone here. Yeah, or text her that. Okay. Yeah, Yes, let me ask her to do that. Speaker. Let me text. I thought she was.
Otherwise, we can hold it up to the phone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking too. Let's do that. That might be quicker. Amy. Oh. Commissioner Zaccaro, are you on with us?
I apologize
Okay.
that everything went mute.
Oh, okay. Did you hear the motion on the floor? Or the motion?
I did not.
Okay, so we'll recap one more time here. So the motion, we have a first and a second, for the motion being to waive the buffer yard and the landscape island requirements shown in orange here. To require some trees and or shrubs, some plantings in the green end caps, the green landscape end caps there. To require paving, so they're not waiving the requirement to pave hard surfaces. And to waive the requirement for the overall number of trees and shrubs on the property. Is that accurate? Okay.
That's what I got.
And so we have a first by Commissioner Christ and a second by Commissioner Lorman. And we were just doing the roll call and we came to you and you were gone. So
So we had Christ was yay. Zaccaro
Aye.
and Lorman
Aye.
and Russell.
Aye.
okay.
So the motion
passes.
carries 4-0.
Yes. So that,
Yes.
that is an affirmative. That is a passing
Yeah,
vote.
4-0 is an approval of the waiver for what was discussed on the with conditions.
So,
Yes.
All right.
yes.
So when is the city council meeting for this applicable? item?
There is no city council for this. You are the final deciders on this
All
one.
right. So motion carries.
Okay.
All right, moving on to public hearings. We had one scheduled, but they requested to be tabled until next month.
So, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, I'll make a motion to table to our April meeting, the Hillcrest Family Services rezoning from institutional to R1, 2435 to 2465 Hillcrest Road.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Roll call?
Yep.
Sorry.
Lorman,
Aye.
Christ,
Aye.
Zaccaro. Did you pop out again? Commissioner Zaccaro?
Do we need 4 votes for this one?
We lost her.
Majority of those present, actually, so you would be fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Aye.
So,
Was that everybody?
yes.
Sorry,
That was
thank you.
3 affirmative votes of the 4
Three and,
commissioners present.
All right, so we're tabling that item until the April meeting.
Correct.
All right, next is items from the public. Seeing no one, we'll skip to items from the commission. Any items from commissioners present?
My only hesitation is that we need 4 for a quorum,
Yes, we do. Oh, you're absolutely right.
so I don't know that we
Yes.
can do an official business without 4 and a
Commissioner
quorum.
Zaccaro, are you back on with us here?
It's like adjourning is official business.
Well, I think making that motion, that vote would be,
We do have
table.
4 present. It'd be no different than a recusal,
I don't know.
right?
I honestly don't know. This has not happened. We do
This is-
recommend all of our commissioners attend the meeting, but we appreciate when they're available.
Yes.
Um,
We'll just
Yeah.
check with Commissioner.
It's just like
Commissioner
a couple
Zaccaro, are you
minutes.
back with us? My goodness.
Did you want to call her on your phone and then just put her on speaker maybe?
Yes, I should have done that a long time ago. Let's try this one. Terry, hey, it's Sheena. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's occurring. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put you on speaker here. We're just going to make sure we go through that last motion, to make sure we capture, your vote for that, okay? So, okay, thank you. So, okay, so we have Commissioner Zuccaro on the line with us, and I just want to make sure we capture her vote for that last item. So for the public hearing, the traditional rezoning for Hillcrest Family Services, the motion on the floor was to table that item into the April meeting. And so we want to make sure we capture your vote, Commissioner Zuccaro.
Yes, I agree with tabling that till April.
Thank you. All right. And then we were going through items from the, I'm sorry.
Commission or from the public, no public. Items from the commission. Items from staff.
No items from staff tonight.
And-
Sorry for the challenges around the technology. We apologize for that. So,
And then we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.